Alright, welcome to CPE update video, I think 4. I think this is 4. Um, this week, I learned about exceptions. Try and catch exceptions, all that stuff. Let me just run you through it real quick. Here we go. So we got the try function, which try and catch functions kind of like go together. They're technically separate, but they go together. So try basically just runs code, right? And it like basically puts the code of the main function, because it's usually, well, it's not usually, but whatever. Anyways, it uses the code that in the body of the try function, so it has like a place to return an error and not crash the whole thing. So when it returns an error, right, because you do a catch when you're expecting an error, the catch function gets that error, right? And there's usually a value that comes with it that it can print in the console of the thing, and so the developer knows like what caused the error without it sending a error message that is just unreadable. So here's a quick kind of example here. The throw string kind of function. So throw can throw any variable with any value, as long as it's like legal. So it throws an error if a equals 0, because all of these do x divided by whatever, and if the input is 0, then it's gonna like mess up and stuff. So they can keep the program running even when it returns 0, which would cause an error, if they have a catch statement back here. So it will, if you added more code, it will do this, and it will divide by 0, right? If you didn't have the catch stuff, it would return an error, the whole program would crash. If you have the try and catch and throw and stuff, what's going to change is that when they enter 0, instead of doing divided by that, it is just going to immediately exit this whole function and throw an error called string bad arg a, right? And now this will catch that string and say something bad happened and print bad arg a, which will tell in the console, it will say, oh, this is where the problem had had happened, and you can go back and change it if you're expecting it. Now, this doesn't immediately crash the program. After it does that, it goes on, because the catch does not let the program crash. It can, because it's expecting it, it does continue. So if you had something like this, right? A good use for this is, say, something like this. If you were having people input numbers, and they input a 0, and it's like, you can't do that. It throws an error, and it says, you inputted 0, you can't do that. You can always use an if statement for that, which is kind of like what they're doing, or put it in a loop, and whatever. But whatever. Anyways, that's kind of like a basic rendition of it. And here's kind of like the example where if we run it, so it's caught. Now, let me just do that. Alright. Boom. There we go. So it throws the string object, and it catches it right here from the function. So this returns this error called object, right? It's thrown error string of object. And so it catches the object here, and it prints it, so that I know that it caught the object. Kind of like error thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned. Yeah, I'll see you next week.